Welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? I'm your host, Andy Class, and joined by
Jabron.
The Parlay Pounder.
Yes, sir.
All right, now we were talking some basketball, we're talking some football.
Yeah.
We're going to do that again, right?
We're going to split this one up.
We're going to talk a little football and a little basketball
Yes,
here.
all college stuff.
And it's probably, it's one of the games that everyone kind of feels good about and makes time to watch.
For sure.
It's a good thing. I love the pageantry. I love it all. I love what the game stands for. And, of course, we're talking about Army taking on the midshipmen of Navy. Both teams are sitting at 5 and 6, but that really doesn't matter because it's going to be a packed house. This game's going to be on CBS. It's a 2:00 kickoff, and they always get spectacular ratings. I love to see that. It's just one of those games that it feels like it does bring an entire nation together, a football
for sure
fandom nation together.
Yeah, this is a bucket list trip for me, Andy, to go to one of these games. It would be so awesome. Like you said, I just love watching it every year. Yep. It's one of those that you check off after the season, after the Huskers get done playing. This is one of the games that you look forward to watching, especially on Saturday. So I can't wait for this game. I believe Army is a 2.5-point favorite coming into this game. So the Navy midshipmen are getting some points here. Do you know what that over-under is, Andy?
It's pretty low, 27.5.
27.5. Now,
and I saw Army catching a half point, so they're actually 3-point, a field goal favorite on a lot of books out there now.
Wow, Andy!
Yeah.
Wow!
I know what you're thinking.
you can often on this game you can throw everything out from the season out of the window. It's just these two teams. These two teams know each other too well. The play style is very similar: defense and run the ball.
Yep.
Army is the 10th best rushing offense in the country. Navy is right behind them at 14. So. What do we know this, And
that's a 7-yard difference, averaging 209 yards to 202 yards a game.
So crazy, Andy, that both of these guys put over 200 yards on the ground each time. What we do know is what I was going to say is the underdog has outright won 4 of the last 7 in this matchup between Army and Navy. Also, the underdog is 6-2-1 against the spread in the last 9 meetings. So you have to look at that team that's getting points in my mind.
And you were talking about the similarities and how they both like to run the ball.
Yeah.
They both have the exact same winning record as far as wins and losses. What struck me was how they mirror one another pretty much on everything, and it's at an eerie pace. Number of plays per game. They each average 61 plays per game.
Oh, man.
Yards per play. They each average 5 yards per play.
Wow.
It's like they're playing each other here. Yeah. Passing yards, Army edges them a little bit with 100 compared to 93 yards passing. It's like the exact same team.
They're the same team.
They're
the exact same team.
It's just wild. With this game being at Gillette Stadium, do you think that gives a little bit of an advantage to Navy?
I do believe that, Andy, and I just that's what I'm kind of hanging my hat on here. It seems for the bettors right now, the Army is the better team in piling up wins lately, but I just think given the history, given where it's played, I'm grabbing the free points with Navy right now, especially if he gets up to a field goal. I love Navy's chances in this game. Maybe even a little bit of a money line play there for me to get some of that plus money.
I'm really looking at that money line.
Yeah.
I think Navy's going to win. I think Navy's going to cover.
Let's
and
go.
For some reason it has to go over, doesn't it? 27.5. They got to be. They can do that.
Exactly.
These guys, come on.
Yep. Nope. I love the plus 130 money line for Navy and over 27.5. That's only 4 touchdowns. I believe that the sparks are going to fly a little bit here.
Yeah.
A couple broken runs here and there. Get these guys a couple touchdowns each, and we're sitting pretty with that over.
I love my country and I love my college football. Give me some Navy.
Let's give me the Navy. Let's go. Plus 3 points, I believe, is a very good bet for Navy.
I do too. All right, should we move on over to the hardwood?
Let's do it.
The court. We're talking Saturday for a 1 o'clock tip-off on FS2. That's going to be Central Michigan, heading on over to Omaha to take on the 10th-ranked Creighton Blue Jays. And my goodness, I think a lot of folks across the state of Nebraska got a pretty good look at the Creighton Blue Jays and what some local talent brings to the table as well.
They for sure did, Andy, and everybody was up for it. Tickets to the game were over $100 for nosebleeds over there in Lincoln.
Creighton versus Nebraska.
Yep. Last Sunday. Creighton blew him out of the water, 89-60.
Yeah.
And who you are alluding to is Mr. Baylor Shireman.
Yeah.
Pouring in 24 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. The guy was everywhere, getting the crowd into it, even in Lincoln. A little smack talk here and there. This guy is not scared of anybody, any bright light. This guy is the absolute man for Creighton this year, and he'll shoot it from anywhere.
Yeah, he will. The first couple in the first half, I think he knocked down six. 3-pointers, and some of those were DM like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, yeah, swish. Okay. Yeah,
swish.
That looked good. Yeah, good play. Good play.
It was a very good game for Creighton, especially to get everybody was, on the Big Red bandwagon saying that they're undefeated, all this kind of stuff. And everybody was also talking about Creighton dropping that very, very bad loss to Colorado State.
Yeah,
and it just happens in college basketball.
Yeah.
It just happens in college basketball. Sometimes it's not your night, especially if you are a 3-point shooting team. Sometimes it doesn't bounce your way.
That's what happened.
Losing a really bad one to Colorado State, I believe this kind of made up for it.
Yeah.
Got them back on the right track. And then when you go into the CHI Health Center on a Saturday to Creighton, this Central Michigan team is about to be blown out of the water.
They are.
I don't have much hope for Central Michigan, especially when as high as Creighton is riding right now.
Creighton might not have been able to play a better game than the game they played against Nebraska.
For sure.
All the stars, all the studs lined up.
Yep.
Kalkbrenner had 13 points. You also had Trey Alexander with 13 points. And you also had Steven Ashworth, the guard that they plucked out of Utah, had a really nice game, shooting the ball from beyond the perimeter, much as Baylor Shireman was doing everything.
Yeah.
And he was having a lot of fun, talking a little smack out there.
That's what he does, man.
That's what he does.
When he starts doing that, you know that he's in his rhythm. You know he's got his head in the game.
Yep.
When he gets quiet, that's when you gotta look at him a little bit and say, okay, where's this guy at?
Come on now.
No, love Baylor, love the Creighton Jades this year. They're gonna make a run at it. I do believe
they really are, and you see why they're ranked 10th in the nation.
No doubt about it.
And they're probably gonna climb a couple spots here.
I agree.
Sitting at 7-1 right now. Nebraska drops to 7-2.
Yes.
All right, well, let's talk about those Huskers.
Let's do it.
They're getting back on the saddle again. I think that was a song or something.
Yeah.
They're going to host Michigan State. That's going to be on BTN Sunday afternoon, a 5:30 tip-off. Oh, boy. A lot of predictors have Nebraska actually protecting home court and pulling off a victory here.
Yeah, no, ESPN Analytics have us having a 56.2% chance to win this game.
When's that been wrong?
Yeah, when's that been wrong? But you kind of got to look at the Big Red, like you said, dropping its second game, not only to Creighton, but yesterday to the Minnesota Golden Gophers, winning by 15 points in the first half, Andy, and then really just letting the wheels come off, only scoring 26 points in the second half and losing to Minnesota by 11 points, 76-65.
Whoa. So they're up by 15 on Minnesota at halftime, and then they end up losing by 11.
By 11.
That's a collapse.
That is a collapse. Getting outscored 52-26 in the second half. And all you have to do
is this going to be a trend? They only scored 23 in the second half of the Creighton game.
I hope it's not. I hope it's not because
what's going on here?
It's really bad, Andy, and you just got to look at the stat sheet to figure out what was going wrong with the Huskers. You got Casey Tamanaga with 4 points, went 0 for 4 from 3, 0 for 5 from the field, only making 4 free throws. When this guy doesn't score, the Big Red machine is not going. The other guy that you got to look at is Mast, our big guy, only scoring 4 points again, only had 5 rebounds. That was a huge thing in this Minnesota game. They could not get a rebound. It happens every year, it seems like. I'm looking at Minnesota grabbing 13 offensive rebounds, and that's really what happens to the Big Red. So
that's why you brought Mast in. That's why you brought him in from the Missouri Valley.
Exactly. And against this Michigan State team, you're not going to be able to do that. They have 3 losses on the year, but 3 all-ranked teams. Losing to Duke by 9 points. She was ranked number 9 at the point. Arizona was ranked number 3 at the point, only lost by 6, and then they just lost to Wisconsin on Tuesday. They widened the gap a little bit with 13 points, but this is a very, very good team coming into Lincoln, and you know why? Tyson Walker, number 2 guard there, putting in 20 points a game, Andy. You can just see it when he plays good opponents, like Wisconsin put in 22, Arizona put in 18, Duke put in 22. This guy can score the basketball, and I have to say that this is going to be Nebraska's focal point on the defensive end.
It's going to have to be, right?
Yeah.
And I did catch a little bit of that Arizona game with Michigan State, and I was pretty impressed with them.
For sure.
Arizona is now ranked number 1 in the nation.
Yeah.
And they hung in there, a couple plays here and there, that'll get you those 6 points.
Yeah.
But that's what, those great teams do, those top 5 teams do. They figure out a way to win all those scraps.
They do.
Like that. But it shows me that Michigan State isn't that far off.
They are not, Andy.
I know Wisconsin got them by 13.
Yep, by 13.
So that's, in today's game, that's not that big of a blowout.
No, it could have been 6 points right at the end, and then free throw shooting goes into that. But no, that is what I'm saying here, Andy. Our leading scorer, Casey Tominaga, not putting in over 5 points in this past game. No. That is something that the Huskers cannot do. And like you said, with Mast, he's averaging 10 rebounds, only had 4 against Minnesota. It's not going to get easier with Michigan State.
And Michigan State always has those big fellas. Those rebounders, those grinders.
Yeah.
Your favorite guy in the NBA.
Draymond Green.
Those Draymond Green types.
Yeah.
Just 6'9", 6'10".
Yep.
Just a banger inside. And Mast is going to have a big game because I like Tominaga. There's an energy about him.
Yeah.
He really gets the Pinnacle Bank, the vault going when shots are going in. It's a lot of fun. But it's not as consistent as it probably
needs to be.
Exactly, and that's what you're looking at here with Tyson Walker, even A.J. Hogard, the 2 guard for Michigan State. He poured in 14 against Wisconsin. So I like those 2 guys the way that they can score in multiple ways, maybe at a more consistent rate than maybe our guys can.
For sure. I do believe this is probably a one-sided affair. I do believe the Spartans get into Nebraska here, and they might run it up on us, Andy. It hurts me to say that, but they have played top-tier competition already, and we have already seen what that does to Nebraska. We started off 7-0, but we were playing the likes of Cal State Fullerton, Dubuque, Oregon State, Stony Brook. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is this team has already been through a gauntlet playing 3 ranked teams.
Yeah.
We've seen it with Nebraska playing 1 ranked team, losing by 30. I believe Michigan State ends the year in the top 25.
Yeah.
They're not losing this game. If Nebraska is sniffing any points here, go with Michigan State because this could get ugly.
All righty. Well, let's take it. You heard the horn, so that means we're up against it. But let's take a quick minute here to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. I've been enjoying a cold beer.
Cold beer.
It's their new cream ale.
Yeah.
Pretty smooth.
It is very good. Love it.
World class in every glass. That's the Nebraska Brewing Company. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL.